So take a step back before I get all up in your
remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
The other dude's holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Derek's gonna get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought?
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Mr. FSP. Welcome to Fantasy Sports and Politics. And today we have a show that's going to evoke emotions, controversy, and a lot more. My co-host JT Money is not available at the present time. He should be on later. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the floor. I'm going to say this right now. Paris Daniel, I'm inviting you to the show. I'm typing this in right now. To go live right now to discuss what we're talking about in the chat. Face to face. So let me put it this way. There are a lot of transactions that took place. And I want to understand what Paris says I don't understand. We're talking in particular the Ladarius Sneed trade, whereas the Kansas City Chiefs franchise tagged this player, paid Chris Jones, released the linebacker Gay, or let him go, but just traded Ladarius Sneed to the Tennessee Titans for this year's 7th round pick and next year's 3rd round pick. We're going to talk about all the other transactions that took place. But I'm going to tell you my position. And if Paris decides he wants to come on, I'll let him share his side. But if he doesn't, I'll give you my interpretation of what he's saying. Now, if he's right, or if I'm right about what he's saying, then so be it. But if I'm wrong, so be it. But here's the deal. And we probably won't know unless Kansas City or Ladarius actually says something. My thought process is this. If a team franchise tags a player, they have already allocated a certain portion of this year's money to that player. Let's say, for the sake of keeping it regular, $20 million. Ladarius Sneed, had he signed the franchise tag, would have made $20 million this 1 year. $20 million. Kansas City would have had him, ability to franchise tag him again or put a transition tag on him because he's that good of a talent. They have already paid, as I said, Chris Jones, who is now the highest paid interior defensive lineman in all of the NFL. My position is when Kansas City accepted a 7th round this year and a 3rd round next year, there was a problem between the organization and Sneed. You do not franchise tag a player with his talent and ability to only trade him for a 7th round pick this year and a 3rd round next year? To me, that says there's a problem, a huge problem. Now, I'm not going to read verbatim what the opposition, Paris, put, but pretty much he says, I don't understand the salary cap situation, and why would a GM not want to understand the value of the player? Because I said they either don't understand the value of the player or there's a problem. And he says, well, the GM knows what he's blah, 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 blah. But I, meaning me, he didn't understand why I didn't understand. And what I'm saying is that is my understanding. I use example of all the quarterbacks that were traded for way less than their value. Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett. All of those guys were traded for way less than what they're worth. But why were they traded? Because they were not in line with the organization. And when you're not in line with the organization, and it's known that you're not in line with the organization, there's a problem. And now the organization has to get what they can for you. So the leverage leaves the organization and goes to the other teams that know your problems. I can offer you a 7th round pick for a Pro Bowl first team, all NFL, whatever the hell they call it, player, and you'll accept it because you don't want that problem in your locker room. I can trade you the number 7 overall pick in the same conference for a 6th round pick at quarterback, Mac Jones. I can trade Justin Fields. I forget. Yeah, he was number 1 overall pick. Justin Fields to a team that is kind of built for success now and only take a 5th or 6th rounder because I know I'm about to get Caleb Williams. But hold up. I just signed DJ Moore last year. I traded for Keenan Allen. I got Everett. So now I have 2 dynamic tight ends. I have DeAndre Swift at running back. Also have oh my God, I forgot the kids. The rookie. Well, not a rookie. Roquan Smith. Not Roquan Smith. I forgot his name. The other running back. There, the young running back there. And the defense is better. As I said, Montez Sweat is there. Chicago has built up every level of defense. But Chicago let Justin Fields go for peanuts. I call it pennies on the dollar because you literally have 2 years left of Justin Fields, 2 years left of Mac Jones, 2 years left of Kenny Pickett, where you can either exercise that 5th year option and still have a decent player or not. But because they're a problem in the organization, you let them go. Now, again, I would love for Paris to come on here to explain his viewpoint so that I have a better understanding of it. Because, when you read someone's comments, it can mean something totally different than what they're trying to say. I know that Jerry and I often go back and forth about that. It's either we're saying the same thing, we're just saying it differently, Or, oh my gosh, my cat wants to co-host the show. Or we're just at odds on the topic. Let's go over some of these transactions while we wait for my co-host JT and Money. And if Paris responds, I mean, it's fairly simple. Fairly simple. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to invite anybody from TSA to come on the show. I really am. I mean, that's just what I do. It's not a big ask. Give me 1 second. So let's look at this. I'm going to share my screen in a second. Well, we're going to look at some of these transactions that have taken place in the month of March. And I'm going to give you my viewpoint on these transactions. Why? Because I'm trying to prove a point. I'm trying to prove a point that a player can either outstay their welcome or they're literally somebody to be traded. Let's look at this. The Bears trade to the Steelers, Justin Fields. Justin Fields is very young, very strong, very big, very dynamic. And with the tools they put in place, I think he could have succeeded. But I believe that he's run his course. He's run his course. They trade him for virtually nothing. Now, Kenny Pickett, upon learning that the Steelers were going to sign Russell Wilson, allegedly requested to be traded. Trade partner happened. It went to Philly. Again, virtually nothing. First round pick, has more wins in 2 years or in 3 years. No, it's 2 years. Than Justin Fields combined. Again, traded for virtually nothing. The Chargers send Keenan Allen to the Bears. Here's the deal. Keenan Allen was supposed to be safe. Chargers just need to come under salary cap to make room for their signees of the draft, free agency, as well as to get compliant. All you need to do is get rid of like $20 million. So what do? They cut old boy Khalil Mack because he's making so much money. They cut the often injured and always broke Mike Williams. That got them under the salary cap and gave them a little bit of room to sign players in free agency and in the draft. But then they decided to try to shop Joey Bosa in a restructuring. And then they traded Keenan Allen. Big move. Because now it's nothing but rookies. Not rookies. Unproven pass receiving wide receivers. No starting running back because Austin Eckler's gone as well. And just Justin Herbert. That's it. That move would be one that I would say Paris might have a leg to stand on when it comes to, okay, they did it for salary cap. They did it for this. That I can see. From what I understand, Keenan Allen wasn't a problem. but his age was. He and Mac were the older of the four players being discussed at being moved. And, you know, I get it. I get that. You give up like a fourth or fifth rounder for Keenan Allen. That's chump change. Really is. The Commanders send Sam Howell to the Seahawks again. This is a situation of you don't want to keep a player in the building that's going to conflict with where the team is trying to go. Sam Howell gave his best last year, got beat up. But Washington has the second overall pick. Chicago has the first overall pick. They're getting the quarterback. Caleb Williams is supposed to be going to Chicago. You never know. You never, ever know. They might pull some bull and go get Daniels. But either way, Washington's happy. Why keep Sam Howell? Get something for him, which they did. Not a salary cap issue. The Falcons and the Cardinals, they swapped Rondell Moore, a wide receiver, for Desmond Ridder. Why do you swap Desmond Ridder? Not because of his money, but because Kirk Cousins signed in Atlanta. There's a problem, a conflict. Let the conflict out the door. Arizona didn't get much. I mean, you get Desmond Ridder. Atlanta gets another pretty damn good wide receiver to help Kirk Cousins. He has a lot of weapons now in Atlanta. Bills and Bears, again, Ryan Bates. Bears needed an offensive tackle. They need a couple offensive tackles, but they get him. Good move. No ill will with the Bears, no ill will with the Bills, but a transactional move that was just basic. We don't want to pay you. You're in a contract year. Decent player. Bears need you. We make a deal. Buccaneers, Lions. Let me just go back. Okay. Let me skip some of these other ones and go to the ones that have some controversy. Because you get my point. Some of these players were moved because of conflict. Their value is way more than what they were traded for or cut for. But you had to get rid of them, no matter what talent they had. That goes back to the Patriots and Jags deal for Mac Jones. Joe Mixon is an interesting one. Joe Mixon. Oh, Jerry Jeudy was definitely a conflict as well. When you see, the Broncos and Browns, he was underperforming, number one, Jerry Jeudy. He was at odds with the organization and the media, namely Steve Smith. But he needed a fresh start. The organization was ready to part ways with he and Cortland Sutton last year. But Cortland Sutton was very productive. When the ball was in his area, he caught it. When the ball was in Judy's area, you didn't know if he was going to catch it or not. Get up out of here. Not worth it. But Joe Mixon to the Texans is a very interesting one. Joe Mixon is up there in years as far as running back goes, but he's still effective. But it was money. That was money. You franchise tag T. Higgins. You have to pay Jamar Chase next year. You cut what's the other wide receiver? Boyd. You bring in Gesicki, a tight end, which is cheaper bring in, but effective. You bring in to replace Joe Mixon, slightly younger, but same injury type history, in my opinion, of my man from Indianapolis. Oh my gosh, I just had his name. He's down here somewhere. Point is, Joe Mixon was a victim of salary, age, and other teammates needing to be paid. They valued, Cincinnati did, Higgins, Chase over Mixon. Now, Higgins still wants to be traded, but they've allocated a certain amount of money for him already. So if he doesn't get traded, he signs a tenure, he plays 1 year, whether he plays aggressively or he just slacks off. He's still there. You still got 2 bona fide number 1 receivers. But let me see if my co-host is back yet. He is. Let me stop sharing and bring in my co-host and see what he got to say. JT ATM Money.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, and yourself? How are you feeling?
Okay. Feeling great.
So, talk to me. I don't know how long you were on while I was sharing, but I'll bring you up to speed a little bit. Paris from TSA and I have had a back and forth discussion about the L'Jarius Sneed trade. As I said, I don't know how long you've been on, but give me your thoughts on the compensation and why you think this trade happened.
Well, trade happened because the player wanted more money, and the Chiefs weren't willing to give him that money, and they wanted to accommodate him by getting a trade for him. Because quite naturally, he didn't want to stay there if he wasn't going to get paid. So they got what they got for him: third round pick, and I think a
seventh round this year and a third round next year.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's all right. That's decent. That I would thought they would got a little bit more, but a third and a seventh in 2 different seasons, I can't complain about that. Chiefs.
I guess my question. I mean, and I'm glad you answered it the way you did.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think? And you said because the player wanted to be paid.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
Do you think his talent is worth a 7th round pick this year?
Oh, absolutely. A 7th round pick? I got it. Yes, correct. A day 3 pick. Really? Yeah.
Correct. But what would you expect his compensation, at least in this year, to be?
Oh, they got a 7th and a 3rd. I mean, a
3rd next year, not this year.
I understand that. They got a 7th this year and a 3rd next year. Okay. They're due to be a high pick unless something drastic happens. They're not going to get a first round or second round talent. But the Chiefs are very good in being able to get talent in the 2nd and 3rd day. So, and it's a hit, but it's not a huge hit to their roster. Okay, so they got what they got. They got what they could get. Okay,
that's where I was going with this.
They got what they could get for that player. So
now, with that being said, I'm going to give you my position, and Paris is on a similar position as yours. I've invited him on the show to expound on his thoughts because I might be off of what I'm reading from him. My thought process is a guy that you franchise tag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's due to get $20 million this year. They've already set it aside. They already signed Chris Jones, right? So both of them are going to be on the team. All he had to do is sign the franchise tag. Is traded away for a 7th rounder this year.
Okay.
which is a day 3 pick,
Okay.
and a 3rd round pick next year, which is a second day pick, end of second day pick.
Yep.
But is that his value because of what he is and what he means to a team? I say this to say, in my opinion, that shows a major conflict between organization and player, that they're willing to let him walk for a 7th rounder this year and a 3rd, as opposed to trying to make a deal later on in the season or during the draft where they can get better opportunities. Because again, they already set the money aside for the franchise tag. You can at least force his hand to either sit out or play and increase the value. That was part of the reason why I'm like, Chicago let Justin Fields go for nothing. They could have let him at least play to week 6 and then trade him.
Well, let me go. I'm going to go this route.
Okay.
They got a 7th round of this year and a 3rd round of next year. Okay, that's fine. They franchise tagged them. They put the money aside. Okay, they saved the money. They're going to spend some of that money on whoever they bring in.
Yep.
In the draft.
Yep.
And I can almost guarantee you. They're going to bring a corner in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it may be a 1st round corner. So it may be a 1st round corner. Okay, I wouldn't put it past them. They'll get a 1st round corner, and it may not be Ladarius Sneed. Now, Ladarius Sneed was valuable,
highly valuable.
Just let me finish. They were valuable to the Kansas City Chiefs in what they do. Okay, he's going to a different team. He's going to a different scheme. He's going to a whole different environment. How valuable are they going to? Is he going to be? Is he going to be as valuable or less valuable? You don't know. You know.
I can understand what you're saying. There is a factor of Tennessee plays a lot of man. It's a new coach, new scheme, but that's where Snead excelled in man-to-man. And if that's what they're going to do, this is one of the most lopsided deals so far, in my opinion, outside of letting all these young quarterbacks go for next to nothing. I think Snead, he was all pro.
Okay.
He was a Pro Bowler.
It's not the
and
first
what
time.
I'm saying is,
It's not the first time that an all-pro gets traded.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Okay. But that's what I mean. Like, I use Chase Young and Montez Sweat, right? I said, okay, Washington, they paid Payne and Allen. So Washington had to make a choice to either keep either or Sweat or Young or let them both go. They traded Sweat, who was the more productive one, for a 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder.
Okay.
They traded Young for a 4th rounder and a 6th or 7th rounder, one or the other.
Okay.
Right? So both are off the books, right? But the value in the talent was with Sweat. Anybody that watched the Commanders game saw that. Anybody that watched the 49ers games saw that Young was not giving his all the time. Thus, they were thinking about benching him during the Super Bowl, and they didn't even bother to try to re-sign him after the season. And he got a $13 million deal from New Orleans that's actually not even $13 million. Because when you read the contract, it's based upon how many times he plays.
Okay. Well, that just played into what I was talking about.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
A value for one team versus a value for another team.
I agree. And I said, in that case, I can understand that concept because you can't afford to pay all 4 and keep all 4 and then fill out the team. But in Snead's case, You could. You could literally hold that man hostage for 2 to 3 years and force his hand to either play, retire, or sit out with his talent.
Well, let me put it this way.
Something better for
They
him.
had enough respect for the guy, and he did enough for that team to accommodate him and give him a trade and go to another team and get the chance to have the type of contract he was looking for. I mean, that goes a long way in players, okay? Being able to not screw a player, so to speak.
Okay.
So to speak. And the fact is, I said this before and I'll say it again. Players talk, man. Players talk.
Yeah. For real. Yeah.
Okay. And they see what kind of organization if they take care of their players or not. And this is the type of organization players can see like, ooh, they're taking care of them, they're accommodating because they can't get to a mutual agreement on a contract. They're going to push him off on some. I shouldn't say push him off, but in lack of another word, they're going to push him off on another team, and they get compensation and give him a chance to get the kind of contract he wanted with another team, which is fair. I mean, they're not. They're not going to do what the Giants did to Saquon, and I know it's a different position. But
I fully understand what you're saying. I fully understand what you're saying because then you make the player hate you because Pat Kerwin said this: the franchise tag is the precursor for the divorce.
Yep.
So, and I get that, and I totally understand and agree with you on that. My contention is, and I didn't look at it that way. I'll be honest. I didn't look at it as, okay, we're going to get what little compensation we can for this guy just to make him or give him an opportunity to get the payday he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it from the organizational business side of, okay, I own your rights. And I want to get wildly compensated or as close to what I want for you in order to set you free to get your big payday. Because as an organization, I could care less what Tennessee does. They're a conference opponent of mine that I might have to play in the playoffs. So I don't care what they are going to do. I want to take as much from them as possible. Now, if I'm sending them over to the NFC, a team I'm not going to see this year, or unless I go to the Super Bowl, okay, I'll take that 7-3 bye. But I'm looking at it from the standpoint that they couldn't come to an agreement on money, but is he a problem in the locker room, or would he become a problem in the locker room? Because you bring up Saquon, which is perfect. Saquon was quiet. He said what he said in the offseason. He played, and then when it was time to bounce, they didn't franchise tag him again. They let him go, and he's on a team that will win.
And speaking of the Giants completed a trade with the Panthers, and that's the same type of situation.
Which trade?
Brian Burns.
Oh, Burns. Yeah, because he wanted to leave Carolina.
Yeah, and the fact that he wanted to get paid too. So that contributed to it.
But they gave him for two. The type of player he is, but they gave up a second-round pick.
Okay.
That's my point. That's exactly my point.
Well,
the player wanted to get paid.
Every circumstance is different. It's different. Different teams, different players. You got Brian Burns, you got Darius Sneed. Which one do you want? I would take Brian Burns. He's younger, and I think he's a better player. So,
well,
in my opinion,
pass rusher. Okay, so we can say a pass. The premium is a pass rusher. You're right, but when you have a lockdown corner,
okay,
I mean that's where you have to decide. Well, and the age isn't that big of a difference.
Let me put it this way: I'd rather have a guy that's going to stop the pass versus a guy who is going to stop the passer versus a guy who is going to protect the backside. I'd rather have the pass rusher versus a DB. I'd rather have that.
Most would because the more pressure you can put on a quarterback, the less time a corner has to cover. I mean, I'm not saying I disagree with you on the Brian Burns over Ladarius Sneed. What I'm saying is the compensation should not, in my opinion, business sense wise, should not be that big of a disparity unless there's an underlying issue with the player and organization. That's where I'm coming from.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't think there was, because players talk and so do organizations. And you can't keep information only but for so long. So they got the compensation of a 7th and a 3rd, okay, because they got what they could get. Just like the Panthers and the Giants, they got what they could get. So, I mean, like I said, there's more of a premium, in my opinion, than on a pass rusher versus a DB. And Brian Burns is, how old is he? I think he's 24, 25, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there.
I'm not sure the age.
Brian Burns is 25 years old. And Ladarius,
he's like 26, 27, I think.
No. I'm looking at him right now. He's 25 years old.
I said Sneed. How old is Sneed?
Sneed? I'll tell you in a minute.
I thought it was like 25, 26, something like that.
Sneed.
I didn't think that there was that big of an age difference.
Come on.
But also the fact that Trent McDuffie's there, who played just as good as Sneed, I can understand the deal as well. But still, the player is in my opinion, the value of that player is way more than what they got for him. So it had to be some type of issue. It didn't have to be. But in my mind, when as the GM, I've got all this leverage. But again, it could have been what you said. We are thankful for your service so much that we're willing to take whatever somebody gives us so you can go get paid.
27. That's how old he is.
Okay, so yeah, 2 years older.
Okay.
Like I said, it's not that big of a difference in age, right? But here's what I'm looking at. Is he going to get paid? Because look what Tennessee just did. They gave Calvin Ridley $92 million. But see, they can do this because they're on a rookie contract with the quarterback, right? They're on a rookie contract with the quarterback. Pat restructured his contract so that, there'll be more money free, But you got a rookie quarterback, not a rookie quarterback anymore, but a 5-year deal on that quarterback, which is very low, maybe total 36 million, something like that. Not even that. It's a 4-year deal because he got picked at the top of the 2nd round. So it's not even a 5-year deal, it's a 4-year deal. Tajay Spears was picked late. But you got young guy there. Defense is somewhat young. So yeah, Tennessee can afford to pay Ridley 92, give L'Jarius what he wants for the next 2 to 3 years. But both Ridley and Sneed might be gone when it's time to pay. What's the quarterback's name? I forgot his damn name that quick. For Tennessee.
What's that?
Levitz.
Will Levis. What about him?
And I'm saying when it's time to pay Will Levis, both Sneed and Ridley might be gone when it's time to pay him because he's at the quarterback position. If he improves, he's going to be worth a lot more money and demand a lot more money. But then they're trying to keep my boy Hopkins. I like Ridley Hopkins and that other receiver they got. If Will Levis can maintain some level of consistency, oh boy, Tennessee might be for real. But again, looking at it from the standpoint of we'll take what we can get from a team because we respect you, is something I didn't take into consideration. That might be where Paris is coming from. But my thought process is, nah, man. Nah. You are way more valuable than that to me. I got my greedy GM hat on. But anyway, it doesn't seem like he's going to come on the show. I shared the link in the chat for anybody from TSA to come on to discuss. But it's okay. It's okay. What transactions, other than the Brian Burns piece, surprised you or made you say, I'm going to tell you right now, Keenan Allen, because I noticed you when I finished talking about that. Keenan Allen to the Bears, along with what they already have. Oh my God, the Bears are trying to play hardball. You know, your Vikings getting 2 picks in the first round to try to possibly.
I mentioned that last week. I know 11 and 23. I'm telling you right now, it's 1 or 2 quarterbacks.
Who?
It's
Who
one or two quarterbacks that they're thinking about.
Who?
Either they reunite Justin Jefferson with his fellow college mate in Jane Daniels, or they go after J.J. McCarthy. 1 or 2 quarterbacks.
Is J.J. McCarthy worth the 11th overall pick over Michael Penix?
They're talking not the 11th. They're looking to move up.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
They're looking to move up.
But that's what I'm saying. If they're not going to wait for him at 11, right?
He boosted his
move up to get him. Is he worth that?
He boosted his
portfolio.
Worth. He boosted his worth in his pro day. So the buzz was that he had a hell of a pro day. Okay. And I think the type of quarterback he is fits into that Viking offensive scheme. And he's got more than enough weapons. He's got more than enough weapons. Well, I'm telling you, he got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, and he's got Aaron Jones with another running back's going to be added. I guarantee you they're going to add another running back.
So here's the rumor mill that happened yesterday. The rumor mill was, and I didn't post it because it wasn't confirmed by anybody, but I can see it happening now that the Chargers literally have no offensive weapons. Literally. The Chargers are willing to trade Justin Herbert to Minnesota for their first-round picks.
Okay.
So that they can then pick up J.J. McCarthy around 11. Because nobody feels, well, not nobody, some teams feel as though he'll be a top 5, top 10 pick.
Okay.
I don't think so. After all these quarterback moves, I think it's only going to be probably about 4 quarterbacks taken in the first round now. And in my opinion, Michael Penix or Bo Nix is better than J.J. McCarthy in the sense of winning a game and not just managing a game. I believe the Chargers are going to go to ground and pound. When you let go of Mike Williams, who only you loved them.
Oh, let me tell you something about Mike Williams. Mike Williams had better stats than Mike Evans and per yard last year than Mike Evans, and I'm trying to think who else. Was it Jamar Chase?
That's cool. But did he finish the season, Jerry?
No, he didn't. No,
and what do you call people? What do you call people that don't finish the season?
I call them busts. Absolutely. But
thank you.
But what I'm saying is this. When Mike Williams is healthy, when he's healthy,
which is rare,
highly
rare. He only had one season where he played like 14, 15 games.
like
go
I
ahead.
like I said, Mike Williams.
Man, you making me hurt my neck.
let me put it this
I
way.
gotta relax. I'm hurting my neck.
You got to go to it, and he's getting coming off an ACL. But and you got to. He's going to a different environment. What bothers me is this about Mike Williams, and I know a lot of people are going to jump on the Mike Williams bandwagon because he's going to the Jets, and that's Aaron Rodgers, who likes to throw the big wide receivers. He's going to a different environment. The different environment I'm talking about is LA, sunshine and daylight. Okay, sunshine. I say sunshine and
Versus
daylight.
doom and gloom in New York.
Versus going to New York, which has a change of season. They had the change of season. It goes from summer to fall to winter on the East Coast. And when you're dealing with joint issues, such as Mike Williams will be dealing with a joint issue, is his repair knee, it's going to be an issue that's going to have to be managed. A lot of people don't think
that MetLife turf that takes everybody's ACL. That's a smart move.
Hey, like I said, a lot of people don't think about that. They just think about the player and don't think about the environment that the player is going to be playing, especially if he comes off a significant injury and he's going to a cold weather environment.
Mm-hmm.
That would, I mean, right now, in this type of weather, with the issues that my other half has, it affects her. It affects people that have joint issues, skeletal issues. It affects them.
Muscle skeletal issues.
Cold weather right now. It's raining outside. Mm-hmm. Right now, it's raining outside, and it affects you. Not versus being able to play in a warm environment, which loosens up your joints and keeps them well lubricated, versus coming into a cold, damp, wet environment is a different story. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't take that in effect.
They do not.
Okay. But you got to think about that. Anyway,
well, Mike Williams. Go ahead. Finish about
Mike Williams is a big question mark. A big question mark.
Very big.
Very big question mark. I mean, when he's available, he's a hell of a player. But you got to be available. Your ability you have no ability if you are not available.
Well, I'll tell you what. That was a head scratcher to me too. But I see what they're trying to do. They get Morgan Moses. They got Tyron Smith. They kick not Verajal. Good Lord. The USC tackle they moved to guard several years ago. They kicked him back in the guard. They're trying to build a line that's going to run block for Bryce Hall.
Morgan Moses.
No, I said Morgan Moses, but yeah. Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses. But they move I can't remember his name. It's Verse something. I can't remember his last name. But they move him inside to guard. And they're protecting Aaron Rodgers while getting maulers to make holes for Breece Hall. And you give a little help, as you said, when healthy, to the guy I think is going to have probably the second or third best NFL season this year. Your boy. As long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, I think old boy is going to be a monster.
Oh, man.
I think he'll be a top 3 wide receiver this year.
You know why I'm laughing? I'm laughing. This is I'm laughing. This is ironic. This is so ironic.
You got the Chronic. The Lakers beat the
This is so ironic. I've laughed about this. Every time I think about it, I laugh because it's very ironic. The New York Jets have improved their team exponentially. They have done a lot of pickup of players and made sense of what they finally wanted to do. The Houston Texans have done the same thing.
Absolutely.
Texans and I left the Jets. I left the Houston Texans, and now I'm with the Cleveland Browns.
Who sucks?
Because they don't suck. Trust me, they're not going to suck. And let me put
I got Mike Vrabel as an assistant now.
I don't know. I don't understand that move, but it is what it is. Anyway, speaking of surprise,
it's the Jerry curse. I told you that.
No,
I told you that.
Speaking of surprise moves, I'm surprised you haven't even brought it up.
I might have. You weren't here for a minute, but what is it?
Jerry Jeudy. I
did talk about Jerry Jeudy.
He gets moved over to the Cleveland Browns in the trade.
Yeah, I brought that up.
And then he gets a huge contract.
I didn't bring up the contract issue.
Then he gets a huge, and that's surprising to me. Then he got a huge contract.
That's just the Cleveland Brown way.
No, hadn't played it down on the field, but he gets a huge contract boost.
I mean, would you be surprised? Why are you surprised? They did the same thing for Deshaun Watson, and we see how that's working out.
No.
You ain't no. They gave that man $235 million guaranteed.
I understand
he hadn't
that.
played in a year and a half.
But he played. Okay, he's gotten hurt, but he's played.
No,
okay.
I said they gave him $235 million guaranteed. At the time, he had not played within a year and a half. So it doesn't surprise me they're going to pay Jerry Jeudy, who's been unproductive most of his career. It doesn't surprise me.
Well, I've looked at a few things, and I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be very productive this year. Okay.
Please expound.
Huh? Please expound.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna say two words, and I think he's going to fit that mold. Will Fuller. Will Fuller. Okay.
Just a 9 guy that has hamstring issues.
I'm not talking about physical. I'm not talking about the health.
No. I know what you're saying.
I'm talking about the ability to get down the field, and plus the fact is they brought in an offensive coordinator that likes to push the ball down the field. They have a quarterback, when healthy, likes to push the ball down the field. They have a wide receiver that can stretch the field in Jerry Jeudy.
Well, he kept the ball.
Jerry Jeudy's a good pass catcher. What are you talking about?
Russell was putting the ball on him left and right, and he was dropping
Russell.
And on the go balls, he dropped several go balls that he was wide open on or hit his fingertips. And this is even before Russell.
Let me tell you something.
This is even before Russell.
Let me say this. What did I tell you in the beginning? I'm going to say two words, and it was Will Fuller. Will Fuller didn't have the best hands either, but when he caught the ball, it was big time plays.
And that was Deshaun Watson's go-to guy when he couldn't get it to Hopkins. I mean, look, I get your comparison. I'm not saying anything negative about it. I just think
you did.
No, I'm not.
No
I'm
hands.
saying I don't believe in Jerry Jeudy.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
No problem.
I don't believe in Jerry Jeudy at all.
I'm not. Let me put it this way: I'm not the biggest
I'm a Steve Smith fan.
I'm not the biggest. I'm not the biggest fan of Jerry Jeudy, and I fully admit that. But I can see why they took a shot. Well, I didn't say take a shot because they paid him. I can see why they got Jerry Jeudy with that effect, thinking that he could be a big play guy in this offense. So,
well, I mean, I follow you, Jerry. I'm not saying that Jerry Jeudy is a complete waste. I mean, he's a jag, just a guy.
Okay, Steve.
With amazing speed.
Okay, Steve.
Steve. Oh, yeah.
Steve Smith. Anyway, and the other surprise, it was a mild surprise. I wouldn't say it's a mild surprise. It was a big surprise.
Does that have to do with Cleveland?
No.
Oh, okay.
The big surprise to me. And not everything's always with Cleveland. I'm not like some people that always talk about their home team. I'm not saying that.
That's a lie.
Anyway, like I said, Steelers trade Deontay Johnson
Yeah.
to the Panthers. That was a surprise. You get two quarterbacks. Wait a minute. You get two quarterbacks that can push the ball down the field, one better than the other. I'm thinking Russell Wilson can push the ball down the field and better deep ball throw than Justin Fields. And you get rid of one of your deep threats in Deontay Johnson.
Your most sure-handed receiver.
I was really surprised about that.
No, I got you. I'm gonna tell you what I think about that because the rumors were that the Panthers were going after Higgins and Pittman. Pittman re-signed with the Colts.
Okay.
And then I don't know if the Panthers and Cincinnati talked or whatever, but it didn't happen. Deontay had asked to be traded. I don't know why, knowing Russell's coming in, knowing Arthur Smith. Remember you said players and organizations talk?
Yeah.
Drake London probably said, hey, look, bro,
Yeah.
you're not getting no passes. Not in that system.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that. I can understand that. Yeah.
So, and that's a surprising move too. A coach move from going from Tennessee fired as a head coach in Atlanta and going to an OC in Pittsburgh. I'm saying.
Well, I mean, it's not a surprise move to me because what has Pittsburgh been until most recently? They've been a run first, smack you in the face, play defense team.
Well, what do you think Arthur Smith likes to do?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what they're going to do, and that will be part of the reason why I can see why Deontay Johnson did not want to be there because it's like, okay, well, Drake didn't get but like 4 or 5 targets a game, and he's 6'6", right? So what I see is the Panthers trying to give Bryce Young a sure-handed receiver. The tight ends aren't there in Carolina. I don't know why they didn't throw the ball to Hunter Hurst or Hayden Hurst. I'm sorry, they didn't. I don't know why. Excuse me. Both tight ends for the whole year only had a total together of 400 yards. I don't know that. I don't know why. They need a better running back than Miles Sanders, but he's serviceable. But Chuba Hubbard proved he's the better running back. They need an offensive line. So they get Bryce Young, a dependable receiver with hands and who can go down the field. Offensive coordinator, quarterback guru.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you.
Wait a minute. Let me finish this real quick.
Okay.
I would not be surprised if when the Panthers do get a pick, that they get another receiver or tight end at some point instead of getting an offensive lineman where they should do. I really think they should. Because you can have Deontay Washington or Deontay Johnson. You can have a solid, scheme. But if nobody's up there blocking, giving that kid enough time, he was the most hit quarterback. Sam Howell's the most sacked, but he was the most hit quarterback.
Yep.
And he's very slightly built.
Yeah, you can't get the ball down the field if you don't have any time.
Exactly. So you get the great pass receiver, but you got so many other holes. They got to address the offensive line. They trade away their best player, like you said, in Burns, but they got a second-round pick in the deal, which is key because they gave up a lot of stuff to the Bears last year. Yep. So getting that second-round pick is key. All right, go ahead. What's your
this in my opinion, not next year, not the year last year, this year is key. For number, was it 9 on the Panthers? Key. They're trying to get him weapons. this is key for Bryce Young. This year is key for Bryce Young. They're going to try to shore up the offensive line, get some pass catchers, and see what he can do. Because if he can't produce, they're going to be looking elsewhere. Either a veteran looking to go somewhere else, or if there's somebody in the draft that they can pick up, maybe Shadir Sanders. Who knows?
Next year.
Next year. Yeah, they're this is key for Bryce Young. Key. That owner doesn't have much patience. He doesn't have.
And you know what? I'm not going to debate you on that, because when you look at what just happened with all of the quarterbacks from the 2 years ago draft,
yep,
Fields, Jones, oh my God, Ritter, who else got drafted in that first? Sam Howell. All the quarterbacks.
Pickett.
Yeah, Pickett. All the first round quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Pickett, Fields, Jones.
Yep.
And Trey Lance.
Backups.
That's my point.
Backups.
And it's only been 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
Into the so this is year 2.
Yep.
So that's why I said I cannot debate you on that, because it's not just the owner. It's the trend in the NFL.
Yep.
So the owner wouldn't even be looked at as, oh, he doing that crazy stuff again. No. And they got very little for those players in return. That circles back to the top of the show about the value of these players.
Yep.
When you trade them away.
Yep.
Now, if the QB is the most valued position on the field, and you're making them back a quarter for a 6th round pick, 4th, 5th.
Justin Fields, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, Desmond Ritter, Mac Jones, and that's 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah, and look, but here's the deal. Ritter got traded for a wide receiver. Howell was the one that got the best compensation out of all those. Because remember, Trey Lance got traded for nothing. Mac Jones got traded for a 6th rounder. Justin Fields got traded for what? A 4th and a 7th or something like that. Kenny Pickett got traded for a 6th. Sam Howell got traded for a 3rd. Really? The last of all those quarterbacks taken got the most compensation. And I guarantee you, he's going to be the starter at some point this year up here in Seattle, because Geno is just going to be a mentor.
Unless Geno, come on, stop it.
Dude, Geno only has 1 year left on his contract, and they only kept him for continuity's sake, in my opinion. Geno, I told you he was going to regress, and he did. And it was the same scheme. Same players. But he regressed mightily. Didn't get nowhere near the yardage that you said. I think we bet on it, but I can't remember. So I'm not going to press you on it. But I know you were like, yeah, he's going to get X, Y, Z. And I know I offered a bet. I don't recall if you accepted it or not. I think you did. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because you were on Geno's wagon hard.
I'm still on Geno. I'm on Geno hard again. Trust me. Okay.
I don't want you to be so disappointed again, but you will.
I'm not going to be disappointed. Okay, he regressed.
Sam Howell will outperform him.
Oh, hell no.
Take that job.
Hell no.
Seattle has a better offensive line, a better run game, better wide receivers than Washington.
And let me explain this to you, my brother. Let me explain to you my
Are you gonna give me a bean pie the way you said that?
In my Shaq voice. Let me explain to you, my brother.
Then you should go, let me explain to you, my brother. That's a Shaq voice.
Okay, yes.
But go ahead.
who's more accurate? Sam Howell, who threw a ton of interceptions, or Geno Smith? Come on,
Bro,
man.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If you're going on accuracy between them two, it ain't Geno. It ain't Geno.
It ain't
I
Sam
will say
Howell.
I will say this.
If I had Sam Howell and Geno Smith, and they're both on the same team, I'm saying I'm picking Geno Smith to be the more accurate quarterback. Come on, man. Stop. Come on. Stop. They're both on the same team.
Now check it out. Check it out. I'll give you this. It's going to sound like an excuse, but it's not an excuse.
Oh, my God.
How long has Geno Smith been a quarterback in the NFL?
Don't make a difference.
No,
I don't care.
It does.
It don't make a difference. It don't make a difference. Let me put it this way. When you get past,
he was a starting quarterback for at least 5 of the 8 years he's been in.
When you get past the first year, you are an experienced quarterback.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
Last year was Sam Howell's first year. That was Geno's 8th year? And what I'm telling you is, if you want to go first year for first year, Sam Howell was better than Geno. If you want to go total career, which is 8 versus 1, of course Geno's going to seem more accurate. Of course, he's had more opportunities.
Not necessarily. Look at Drew Lock. Drew Lock's been in the league for God knows how long.
Bro,
I would take Sam Howell over Drew Lock. Really?
That's what Seattle did. They took Sam Howell over Drew Lock.
Well, that's exactly my point.
But Drew Lock was not a starter for 5 years like Geno was before he became a backup. There's a big difference there. When you have 5 years of starting experience versus 1 year of starting experience, and Drew Lock only started 1 year really in Denver before they said, "Oh no, we're not going to deal with you." 1 year versus 5 full years in an 8-year career.
We'll see.
Of course, Geno's going to be better.
Okay. We'll see this year. And the only way, in my opinion, Sam Howell will start and this is a big if Seattle has a beginning of the season bad season and Geno is super bad.
So you don't think Sam Howell's going to beat him out in the summer?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. Geno has a big edge over Sam because he has a rapport with Lockett, a rapport with Metcalf, and he was developing a rapport with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Sam Howell has no rapport with any of those guys. But if Sam Howell can develop a rapport with them over OTAs, over mini camps, over the preseason, I can see him easily taking that job away from Geno as the starter going into the season.
The history of the Seattle Seahawks says that can happen. The history of the Seattle Seahawks says that can happen.
Okay.
Reason I'm saying that is because the competition. Wait a minute. Just
I haven't said anything.
You're making faces. You're making faces.
I can make a face.
Make a face like you didn't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I can make a face. It's not like I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
Anyway, and I can't remember the quarterback's name, but Russell Wilson was a 3rd round pick at the time, and they paid this guy a $10 million contract to be the starter for the Seattle Seahawks, and Russell beat him out. And the fact, and that the reason I'm saying that the Seattle Seahawks have a history of it don't make a difference what your paycheck is. If your ability outshines your paycheck, then you will be the starter. That's what I'm saying. I said it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think it's going to happen. That's what I'm saying.
No, I follow, but that supports what I'm saying. And we also got to remember that's under Pete Carroll. There's a new head coach, defensive-minded head coach, who we don't know if he's going to ground and pound the ball or be more 50-50, or if he's going to want to pass it. But we know that he's going to make that defense play better than it did last year. So
we'll see.
I listen.
See what happens.
That's why I'm saying you proved my point about Sam Howell beating out Geno. By saying what you said.
Look. I wasn't counteracting what you said. I was saying Seattle has a history of that. That's what I said.
I got that, but
okay.
So you brought it up after saying that Geno would beat him. So I'm trying to figure out the correlation.
What I'm saying is there's a possibility. That's what I'm saying. There's a possibility.
Yeah.
You said Sam. You didn't say it was a possibility. You said Sam Howell was going to beat him out.
No, I said I believe he could if he got the rapport with the players throughout OTAs, throughout minicamp, throughout preseason. I think he can beat Geno Smith for the job. That's not saying he's going to beat Geno Smith. I believe he can beat Geno Smith and be the opening day starter. The edge I give to Geno is he already has the rapport with those players. That's the only thing. But I was confused by you because you were saying how Geno was going to beat him, and then you go in and say, support my argument. So I'm like,
no, I'm just saying that anything is.
I didn't understand why you said
anything is possible. Okay, but I think Geno's a better football player, better quarterback.
Okay, well, it's time to take a pause. It's time to take a pause.
Oh, here we go.
Because this
here we go. My man.
Episode is brought to you by
Hayes Hero. Don't be a zero. 15% off military discount. Visit 624coffeecompany.com for more info. Visit the website, verify status, stop drinking dirty water. You deserve great coffee for great people. 624coffeecompany.com.
That's right. They've got a special going on as well. I don't have the advertisement for it, but there's some new flavors out there that the company has decided to showcase, and it's hopefully it's doing well. Transition time. Have you watched any college basketball, men or women?
Let me tell you something. Now, I'm gonna tell you something, and I wanted to call you. I wanted to call you because I had two.
Why didn't you call?
I had two hot picks that I really liked, and one of them covered the spread, and then one other one won outright.
Okay, so why didn't you call me or text me?
Because let me put it this way. I didn't want to hear your mouth if it went the wrong way. So I said,
bro, I wasn't gonna go after you if it went the wrong way.
Let me put it this way. I had a hot pick. That I liked Samford to beat the spread against Kansas because
Kansas is not gonna win today.
And I liked Grand Canyon to beat St. Mary's.
I would have questioned that one. I know Grand Canyon's a decent team, but I mean they ended up beating them.
Yeah,
I thought St. Mary's was a lot better.
I don't do this often.
Oh my!
I don't do this often, but I have a feeling. That a Cinderella team is
Oakland.
No, a Cinderella team. I have
Oakland
a feeling.
is a Cinderella team. They're like a 14, 15 team.
Grand Canyon was 12th. Okay.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon is 12th. I'm thinking Grand Canyon, which is 30-5, against Alabama, which is 21-11. Now, I looked this up already. Alabama has scored over 100 points in the last 2 games. Grand Canyon over the last 5 or 6 games has averaged I think it's averaged about 85 points a game. And Alabama is only favored by 5.5 over Grand Canyon. I like Grand Canyon, man. I like Grand Canyon.
Over Bama?
Over Bama. I like Grand Canyon. They're playing it's the Western region game. Where's Grand Canyon? From the West.
I know where they're at.
Alabama is not from the West. Okay.
But they've been out west for the past week.
Okay.
So they've climatized.
Look. I almost made a serious bet on Grand Canyon, and I decided I'll wait and see what happens. And unfortunately for me, because I didn't make the bet, Grand Canyon won the game. I'm liking Grand Canyon, man, for an upset. There's always a Cinderella team, and I think this is one of those teams.
Okay. I tell you what, I'm not going to place that as an outright winner. What's the spread? The spread is what? 5.5?
I told you 5.5.
I don't think they cover the 5.5. I think Bama covers the 5.5.
No problem. Okay. Okay.
But here's the thing. The SEC has looked very trashy in the tournament.
Well, let me put it this way. I'm looking at Alabama. Alabama has 11 losses. That ain't good. 11 losses.
Yeah, but look at the quality or caliber of teams they play.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When Grand Canyon played St. Mary's, and St. Mary's didn't have the type of record Grand Canyon had. Grand Canyon was 29-5. St. Mary's was 22-8 or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. And
Mount St. Mary does not play in a tough conference, though. I'll be honest, they don't.
No
but
problem.
They are good at well, not anymore because they lost, but they're good at running the court, man, and shooting them threes.
Well,
I didn't see the game, so I don't know how it transpired. But hey, I'm glad you're sharing your thoughts instead of holding them and not sharing with your boy. But
you would have questioned one of my thoughts.
No. I wouldn't have questioned.
You just told me you would have.
Well, no. I told you, Grand Canyon to beat Mount St. Mary's, I would have been like, I don't know. To cover, yes, but the Sanford to cover, oh yeah. Because Kansas came into this tournament limping. That was their first win in the last 4 games?
And the fact Kansas' best player
is out. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. That's why I said I think today, or I'm not sure when Kansas plays out today or tomorrow, that might be their last game of the tourney.
Yeah, I don't like Kansas. I mean, Kansas is not. Especially
Kansas.
Kansas is not Kansas, especially without their best player. Their best player, I think he's out this game too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's out for the entire tournament.
Okay,
he's not playing the entire tournament.
Well, let me put it this way: they got lucky with the first round. They got lucky with who they picked, who they had at the first round, because that's probably the extent of what they're going to get. They shouldn't be going any further. I know Bill Self and the company is not really high on this team. And I think their run ends the next time they play. So
okay. Well, I'm
glad
Grand
Canyon plays tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, against Alabama. I'm keeping up a little bit, man. I'm trying.
Well, that's good. I'm happy. I'm happy for you. So you can at least be in the conversation when I bring stuff up. Okay. So with that being the case, I'm going to say you brought up the Cinderellas. Oakland just beating Kentucky?
Kentucky's not that good.
Well, see, that's the thing. Kentucky over the past 5 games have been juggernauts.
Yeah.
Outside of their SEC tournament, they were juggernauts, scoring over 100 points a game, right? And playing good defense. Oakland just outplayed them. Plain and simple. It wasn't no luck. It wasn't no fouls. Or they just outplayed them. And the one kid that said in his interview, I know I'm not going to the NBA.
Oh,
But I know I can play with these guys.
oh, really?
That is a statement of confidence that might get them a look at the NBA, because a lot of people had Kentucky going to the Final Four.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
Well, because of their play lately. But when you got a kid that has only shot all season 8 2-pointers and everything else has been a 3-pointer all season, that's wild and dangerous, because the coach, he's giving the green light. That means he can make them. He doesn't drive to the bucket. He finds a spot, shoots that 3. And he was on.
Well, let me ask you this. Who do you have going to the Final Four and win it all? And wait a minute, before you say that, before you answer my question, I watched Houston, which is ranked number 1, play in the
first round
Big 12 tournament.
Big 12 conference, yeah.
Against Arkansas and dismantle Arkansas. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw Houston play Iowa State
in the championship.
Iowa State wore them out.
Mm-hmm.
Wore them out.
Yeah, they did.
So, I like the guard that Houston has. He's a gritty guard.
Defensive player of the year and offensive player of the year for the Big 12.
Yeah. I mean, I like that guard. See, I'm paying attention a little bit. Anyway.
Thank you. I'm thanking you for doing that. That means a lot to me. It does.
And the fact is, I could not. And when I watched that game, I watched most of that game, and Iowa State was wearing them out. They were beaten by 20-25 at one point.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the final score was because I turned it off.
They won by 30-something.
Oh,
but let me break that down.
Okay.
Houston had already won the regular season title.
Right.
Iowa State was undefeated at home all season. Iowa State plays the best defense in the entire tourney, Big 12, and probably in the NCAA tourney as well. They just so happen to be on offensively.
Yes, well. I'm sure glad you said that, because I'm saying Houston couldn't hit a shot. They couldn't.
I know.
They couldn't hit a shot in their life.
And what happened was, Houston's coach Ralph Sampson decided, okay, this doesn't look like it's something we're going to win. We don't need to win it. We're going to be a number 1 seed anyway. Let me pull out my guys so they get a little bit of rest.
Yeah.
So that score isn't indicative of what Houston is capable of in the tourney.
I have to do it
versus what Iowa State is capable of.
I have to disagree.
No, I got you. So my Final Four, going back to your question, Houston, UConn, North Carolina, and Creighton. The reason why I don't have Purdue in there, which has happened to be one of the best teams in the nation, and that's 3 number 1 seeds and a number 3 seed, because Creighton and Marquette battle, but Creighton has won those 2 games, and if it comes down to those 2 in their section, I think Creighton beats Marquette. Creighton's gonna have to get past Baylor though. Baylor's big and bad and can score too, but Creighton shoots a three and has a good inside presence as well. Houston, I have them winning it all. Either them or UConn. Because I got them two in the final game. UConn, I have getting past North Carolina because North Carolina is susceptible to trying to match what you do offensively. UConn can shoot from outside. UConn can play inside. UConn falls asleep sometimes, but they always find a way to play better defense in the second half to bring the score back to where it should be or take the lead. Houston, that guard, man. As that guard goes, that's what he does.
You're right. He's a really strong influence on that team.
Yes.
Huge influence on that team.
Yes.
And you know, I started, like I said, I watched the game. I just started watching the game. And the guard caught my eye. The guard caught my eye and saying, damn, this guy is good. Didn't realize that he was the defensive and offensive player of the year for the conference. Did not realize that. I just said this guy is good.
He's the reason why they were number one for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks or something like that. Mm-hmm. Then they lost the game. And then I think Purdue took it back over. Somebody took it back over, but then all of them except for all the number one seeds lost their conference finals or didn't make their conference finals in their tourney, except for who's number one? Purdue,
North Carolina,
Houston, and who's the other number one seed?
Connecticut?
UConn. UConn is the only one that won their conference final and conference tourney.
Okay.
So UConn, I believe, is the number one overall seed. Houston is like the second number one overall seed, then Purdue and North Carolina.
Okay.
But Purdue has that big 7'2" dude that's really athletic. And he's going to give people problems now because this is his second year and he's put on some weight and he's become more athletic.
Okay.
They've got shooters, but I think they fall asleep sometimes. That's how Illinois beat them in the tournament, in the Big Ten tournament. So they didn't even make their finals. And I don't think they're going to make it out of their region because I think they're going to fall asleep just a little bit. And it's going to cost them. But it's going to be good. Now, here's the deal. I think UConn has the easiest path. Why? Because most of the upsets have come in UConn's region. Think about it. UConn is the only single-digit seed left after the first round. Duquette is like 11. South Carolina, who I think is going to be, they're going to beat Oakland, I think. But Oakland's a 14. There were a lot of upsets in there. Literally, UConn can walk their way to the Final Four. Literally. All they got to do is play smart ball. I think they got the easiest path. The next easiest path, I think, is Houston because the hardest test they're going to have is Duke. If Duke passes, beats the team they got to play, which was an upset, so they should beat them. And UConn should beat who beat Wisconsin? Whoever just beat Wisconsin. Houston should beat them. And Duke has a problem. They are off and on. off and on. Houston's consistent. I think they beat them. And then I think Baylor, who I had going out, but possibly now beating the number 14 seed they're going to play, has a good shot at knocking out. I really think Tennessee loses to Texas. Texas plays tough ball, man. And Tennessee is really good, but their guard is so good, but he's so small and he's off and on. He hustles, but Tennessee is up and down. And Arizona, Arizona's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You don't know what you're going to get with Arizona. So that's my breakdown of it thus far. But yes, I have Houston winning it all or UConn winning it all. Hopefully that happens. If it doesn't, I'm going to be very sad and disappointed. But Purdue can make that run. You know what I'm saying? Purdue can make that run and win it all. So that's what I got. Iowa State can be tricky, though. You had to put the hat on.
I just looked at it. I had to put it on.
We ain't even talk about football no more.
Okay. But, hey, I just had to put it on. It got impulse wearing. That's what what can I tell you?
Okay.
Impulse wearing.
All right. Okay. Whatever, homie.
Well, let me. I'll save this for tomorrow. I'll save it for tomorrow.
No, because I'm about to end the show. Hopefully, you have something for no reason tomorrow.
Yes, for no reason, people. For no reason. You see it in back of me. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be talking about free agents. I wanted to do it last week. Unable to do it last week. I'm talking about free agent fantasy relevance. And we're going to talk about the king, for one. We're going to talk about
who's the king?
Victor's king. We're going to talk about Victor's king, okay?
Not my king, but Derrick Henry.
Victor's
the
king. Derrick Henry. Running backs. We're going to be talking about running backs. And I'll put a little tidbit out there tomorrow. I'm not going to put it out there today about what I see in fantasy. What I see this year in fantasy. Okay, but we're going to be talking about running back, free agent running backs. And there was a lot of movement. As soon as free agency really started, there was a lot of movement. The main movement was running backs. So I'm going to talk about that.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because one thing, and I'll tee it up. Maybe you talk about it, maybe you don't. But the one thing that did not happen with running backs is Dallas went to get one. But Kareem Hunt's still out there. Latavius Murray's still out there. And a few other proven backs that can come in and be a bruiser are out there. I'll just leave it at that.
They're ugly. There has been, never was.
Cute. I'm just saying Dallas didn't do anything to fix it.
Has been and never was. Dallas is going to be looking for who's coming into the league in the second and third day. I'm telling you that right now.
I agree, but in order to get somebody, a big bruiser that can,
they don't need
a big bruiser. A proven player, it needs to be a running back by committee in Dallas, in my opinion.
Yep, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They don't need a big bruiser. They need the type of offense that Mike McCarthy runs, who I don't like. You know that I never liked him as the new coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and he wins. Okay, he wins 12 wins, 3 games, 3 seasons in a row. Can't get past the first round in the playoffs. Okay, because the type of offense is like a Peyton Manning type of quarterback. It's a regular season, it's good. Come playoff time, it's a different story. You whittle down to better teams, and the better teams key in on what your weaknesses are and take advantage of that. Dallas is a small defensive team that wants to rely on their speed. And Green Bay, as you can see last year, took advantage of that. The year before, San Francisco took advantage of that. So this is what I got to say. They don't need a bruising running back. They need a running backs that do different things, so that the offense can do what McCarthy wants it to do.
Okay.
And that's plain and simple. He's a pass first, run last type of coach. And we'll see what happens. But he's going to look for maybe a couple running backs in the draft. I'm going to talk about running back free agents. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the For No Reason. Be there. YouTube, X, and also Facebook. That's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm a good commercial guy, man. For No Reason.
Well, with that being the case, this show has been brought to you by
624 Coffee Company. That's 624 Coffee Company. Hey, hero, don't be a zero. 15% off military discount. Visit 624coffeecompany.com for more info. Visit the website, verify status, stop drinking dirty water. You deserve great coffee for great people. That's 624coffeecompany.com. Don't miss out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, next Saturday, if there's like really no traffic, I may or may not be on, but the plan is to be on air and discuss NCAA. And if football's happening, football, but I want to get into baseball. Ohtani is in trouble. Paying gambling debts. Were they his or were they his interpreters? That's what I'm going to talk about next week. It's a lot of stuff out there right now, but by next week, more information should be released because MLB's opened up an investigation. Are you deucing it? Are you piecing it?
Peace.
We out. See y'all next week.
Fantasy, sports, and politics.
You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
Remember,
face.
because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Oh!
Jerry's gonna get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games,